I am coming back with another video. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing what I saw in regards to Joe Biden and Obama. This was a very weird dream, and I sat on it for a long time. I don't honestly remember the exact date I had this dream. I don't know why I didn't record the date, but it's been within the past week and a half. So that's pretty much the range. I know I've had this dream. It hasn't been that far away, but I sat on this dream because I was really trying to, understand, or at least try to make some sense of what I saw. So I have my phone right here because I have the dream recorded on this phone. So basically, the way it started out, Joe Biden and Obama were in the same room. They were like kind of standing next to each other. And as soon as I remember this scene starting, I just remember Obama saying babbling. And then Joe Biden looked at him like, "You're an idiot." And Obama hurried up and corrected himself. He said Babylon. And after that scene, I saw Joe Biden, and he was just standing by himself. And what was interesting was the middle of his head was bald. So all he had was white hair going from the side of his head all the way around to the other side of his head. So it was just all white hair, but the center of his head was bald. Okay, I saw a spray can that he had in his hand, and it was black spray paint. And he took the spray can and he sprayed all on his hair to make his hair look black. And for whatever reason, he didn't get spray paint on the center of the bald part of his head, but there was black spray paint on his forehead. And I remember thinking to myself, as I'm watching this play out before me, I immediately thought blackface. That's what came in my spirit, blackface. So after I saw that, it was then made known that his wife had told him to spray paint his hair black. So I knew his wife had something to do with him making that decision. So fast forward, the next scene, I saw Obama again. And this time it was like we were all in a classroom. Obama was way across on the other end of the classroom, and I was on the opposite end of the classroom. And just out the blue, Obama said he didn't like the filet-o-fish from McDonald's. And I remember there was like this debate where other people were saying, just talking about the filet-o-fish from McDonald's. And I remember saying I didn't like their fish either, but I do like fish. And I made it a point to say that I like tilapia and perch. Don't know why I specified those two, because I've had perch in the past, but I haven't bought or ate perch fish in probably over 10-15 years. So I thought it was interesting that I made mention of tilapia and perch. And I remember there was a girl that was sitting in her desk next to Obama, and I knew who this person was, and I knew she was a Christian, but I also knew she was someone who's kind of been on the fence when it comes to not knowing for sure if Obama is the Antichrist. And so in this particular scene, she was just having this casual conversation, and it was obvious that she wasn't bothered by being next to him. But although I was way across the other end of the classroom, I just kept looking at him, like I was keeping my eyes on him, because I knew who he was, and I didn't want to let my guard down in any way. So it was like I was making sure he stayed on the opposite end of the room throughout this whole segment of this piece of the dream. And that was pretty much all I remember. And I also remember knowing that we were all waiting for the bell to ring so we could all be dismissed to leave. So that was the dream. Now, at first, when I wrote this dream down, I wrote it the way it sounded. When he first said babbling, it sounded like he said babbling. And I was like, babbling? That's weird. And as I kept meditating on it, the Holy Spirit led me to babbling, like babbling. And I was like, oh, that's what he was saying, babbling. So here's what I broke down. So when you define babbling, it means talking rapidly and continuously in a foolish, excited, or incomprehensible way, not able to be understood, not intelligible, which would explain why Joe Biden looked at him when he said babbling. Joe Biden looked at him like, you're an idiot. So that look that he gave Obama was to confirm that when he said babbling, it was a representation that he was saying something foolish. Okay, so after Obama said babbling, he hurried up and corrected himself and said Babylon. Now here's the interesting thing with Babylon. Now we know in the book of Genesis, chapter 11, Babylon is featured in the story of the Tower of Babel. And the Hebrews claimed the city was named for the confusion which ensued after God caused the people to begin speaking in different languages so they would not be able to complete their great tower to the heavens. Now, I feel that this was an indication because even when you look at Nimrod, we know Nimrod was the one who was in charge this whole Tower of Babylon being created. He was the mastermind, I guess you should say. And Nimrod was in a lot of ways considered the first Antichrist. Okay. And even when you look at the Illuminati or secret societies, they worship Nimrod. Nimrod and the Tower of Babel was kind of a type and shadow to the Antichrist, and how the Antichrist will cause a lot of people to worship him and to go against God. So I feel that with me seeing Obama say babbling, it was an indicator that he is coming from that same spirit. The same spirit that caused Nimrod to want to, build this tower to basically go against God and to make himself look to be as God. I feel like that's why Obama spoke the word babbling. So it could show the connection between his spirit, the role that he will play in the future, and also it speaks to the role that he's even playing today. So I feel too that it shows the level of confusion that is coming from him and the spirit that operates behind these elites, because they truly believe that they can go against God. They truly believe that they can move beyond what God allows. And so that within itself represents foolishness. It represents confusion. And I feel too that the reason why he said Babylon is because I do believe that America is the Babylon that was spoken about in the book of Revelation. And I do believe that they are trying to bring about prophecy where America will be destroyed. But again, prophecy is fulfilled according to God's timing. Here's my thing. I believe that we are in the end times. And I know that a lot of people are watching and observing what is taking place, not just here in the United States, but around the world. Okay. And there are a lot of interesting things that are playing out right now that looks to be very similar to what was prophesied in the scriptures. We have to be very careful in how we are interpreting what we are seeing and trying to make it fit Bible prophecy, because anybody can say, well, since this over here is happening, that means this right here is about to happen. I know there's been a lot of talks of Babylon, you know, and how America is going to be destroyed and all of these different conversations. Again, just because we see certain things playing out doesn't mean that that's exactly where we are. At the end of the day, prophecy is God's prophecy, meaning he's the one who spoke what will happen. And because he spoke it, only he knows when that will take place. Even when God gives us dreams and visions, he can give us a dream and vision 5 years prior to the actual vision coming to pass, because it's all about his timing. It's all about him deciding when he wants to make something come to pass. So we have to be very careful, because there have been so many conversations back to back to back to back of different events that we have been seeing play out in our world in the past 2-3 years. And people have been saying all of these different things, making people panic, making people worry that this is where we are. And come to find out, that's not exactly what was happening. And so when we speak a word and we attach that word with this is what the Lord said, and it doesn't come to pass, we have to be very careful with that. Because when you call yourself a prophet, you're basically saying that you are speaking for God. And you're saying that God gave you those exact words to speak to the body. But if God didn't give you those words, and those words were inspired by a different spirit, then that's doing something that goes against God, because you're not supposed to sign his name on something that God had nothing to do with. And that's why we have to be so careful of who we're listening to and who we're following, because anybody can come up here and say that they are a prophet or they're a prophetess, but where are the fruits behind that? Is God giving you confirmation of this? Is God bringing to pass the words that these people are saying God told them to share with you? See, the thing is, people have gotten so accustomed to following the prophetic word, but when it comes to someone showing how God brought a word to pass, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to hear those words. But people love to flock to the messages where people are saying, this is what the Lord said, prophetic word, prophetic word, prophetic word. But are you watching to see if these words are coming to pass? Have these words come to pass? But it's like we have to be so careful, because when you look at during the time of Elijah, there were 900 false prophets. Let me correct, 850 false prophets during that time who claimed to be prophets of God. But they were all false. And it took Elijah, one man, one true prophet of God, to demonstrate to the people that he was the one who was truly being led and inspired by the one true God. Him alone. So when you take that into consideration, You have to be so discerning of who is out here calling themselves prophets. But moving ahead, when Biden spray painted his hair black, and I told you guys that I saw some of the black spray paint was on his forehead, and I immediately said in my spirit, blackface. I believe this could possibly represent how Biden has been panhandling the black community by catering to them for a specific agenda. While Obama proclaimed that he didn't like McDonald's filet of fish, that did seem to me like, okay, that's really odd. But when you think of, let me first say fish stood out to me. And we know when it comes to the scripture, fish usually is a symbol for Christianity or for Christians, right? So when Obama said he didn't like McDonald's filet or fish, I was really thinking about that. Now, when you look at the filet of fish, that's not a real fish. It's a manufactured fish, okay? So it's possible that Obama was declaring that not only does he hate Christians, but he hates even those who proclaim to be real Christians. So that's very possible that that's what he was emphasizing, because McDonald's, I don't even eat McDonald's, okay? It's very, there's been so much stuff going on with McDonald's, and just the stuff that I've researched in the past with McDonald's food. Like, I don't touch McDonald's food. But like I said, the filet of fish, we know is not a real fish. It's a manufactured fish. Now, me mentioning tilapia and perch. Now, a lot of people consider tilapia not to be a real fish too. But interestingly, tilapia actually is a freshwater fish from, I think it's from Africa, West Africa, but I know it's in Africa. So I don't know why this whole information stuff came out where they were saying tilapia was GMO, it was a man-made fish. Because even when I started hearing about that, I had stopped eating tilapia for a while. But doing my own research, tilapia actually is a real fish. I was led to define what perch means. Perch is defined as a resting place, an advantage point, and it also speaks of someone who is like literally on their toes, like they're sitting, they're watching, they're aware, they're alert. And which is why it showed me across the room from Obama, and I kept my eyes on him, because not only was I aware who he was, but I was alert. I was focusing, I was paying attention to where he was, what he was doing, what he was saying. So I feel that the purpose behind mentioning the filet of fish, the tilapia, the perch, it was representing different categories of Christians. And Obama was just basically saying he don't like fish. He don't like Christians. We know he hates Christians. I just feel that this dream was very interesting. I feel that it was speaking to something that I believe is just continually confirming who this man is. But this particular dream, honestly, I was back and forth when it came to trying to figure out if I wanted to share it or not. But I just think it's pretty telling too to where we are, and especially when you look at Joe Biden and how he has really been trying to cater to the black community. There's been so many different instances that we've seen where he's literally been doing just that. And like I said, I just believe there's so many different agendas at work. And, you know, God is just shining a light. He's shining a light to what's really going on behind the scenes. So I just wanted to put this out here, just kind of share this with you all to let you know this is, you know, what was revealed to me. And, you know, I do find it very interesting that I would hear Obama mentioning Babylon, because at the end of the day, whether people know who this man is, whether people understand the agendas that he has, it's very telling, you know, for him to say Babylon. It's like he knows, you know, just like in the video that I shared with y'all about the dream that he had. It's very obvious that he's been chosen by Satan to carry out a specific purpose. And Babylon and Babylon being destroyed, all of that will happen in due time. But are we there at this precise moment because of what we're seeing going on with Russia and Ukraine? I don't believe that's where we are. I really hope and pray that we continue to pray for the people of Ukraine, that we continue to pray that God will intervene in this situation, and that, you know, things will come to an end in that regard. But to make that situation try to fit, you know, something in the scriptures as it pertains to America, I really just don't feel that's using discernment, because that's not where we are right now. So again, I just wanted to come on here and share this dream with you guys. And yeah, if I receive anything else, I will definitely let you guys know. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.